Do you guys know each other before we start?
I'm looking at unfamiliar faces.
Excellent.
So some of you I know, not everybody.
Okay, great. Then I'm going to start just by, I think you all know me, but I always assume many things and make me embarrassed. So this is how it begins. My name is Kim. I run the Improv Company. I know all of you by having worked with all of you or taught you at some point in the past, which is great. And it's great to see all of you again. Who's next? Let's go with Pencil.
Oh shit. Yeah. Hi, Bhavani. Am I supposed to give like a history or something?
Yeah,
No,
everything. All of it.
everything. Long ago. Yeah, I'm okay. I think I know all of you except Zul. Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Oh, great. That's a great segue to Zul. Then.
Everyone, my name is Zul. I know, I think some of you, and then the others, I recognize you from shows that I've seen.
Which one?
I shall leave it as vague as that. So you get to decide among yourself.
Beautiful. Let's go with Benny.
Hi, everybody. I'm Benny. On closer inspection, I think I know everybody except Zul, and Zul's introduced himself, so I know everybody now. Hello. Good to see you all again. I'm an expat, and
What?
I've
Really?
Really? No one a guest.
It's very hard to tell. Yeah, I know. I blend right in. I've been a guest here in this wonderful country for 3 years. I enjoyed it for about 18 months, and now I'm trapped here, and it's my personal hell, and I desperately want to go home. But home's no good either. So those
Where
are
is
the
home for you?
to this video podcast.
I have never related more.
Are you an expat, Bhavani?
You're not from Singapore?
I could be considered one, I suppose. I mean,
Wait,
yeah.
What's your definition of expat? Because this can be racial.
If it's racial, I'm not.
Can be an expat.
Yeah, if it's racial, I'm not. According to the country where my family lives, I'm definitely an expat.
No, you're right. Okay. See, that's what I'm wondering. See, there's a real contention about whether the word expat should apply to everyone who's migrated or just, wealthy white people who go and do it for fun for a couple of years and then disappear.
Oh, I thought those were...
we have different terms for those kind of migrants.
Mm-hmm.
I just hijacked the introductions.
No, that's how it goes.
No, I feel everyone should introduce themselves before I start ranting and get political.
Oh yes, Pofma. All right, man. I say so much shit.
I was also thinking,
I suspect
like, in terms
Jester edits out all my crap, which is great.
I was thinking in terms of like industry, like Bhavani's an artist, right? So like, are artists expats?
We are marginalized, so we are definitely not expats.
Oh,
I thought it was like, marketing businessmen who are expats.
Yeah, that's what I mean about the term, that it's a term you reserve for people who come here on like it's basically a working holiday. And if they like it, they'll stay. And if they don't, they're just like, well, that was fun. But we've got a separate term for people who, in any other circumstance, you'd just call them migrants or immigrants. But it's, there's a real element of privilege there, right? And I say all of this while my helper does laundry behind me, which is telling, isn't it?
I mean,
perfect.
Okay. This is Matt.
Perfect
Best.
example. Hi.
Oh.
And we love it dearly.
Hey, at least two of you. Let's go with Jet.
Hi. I'm Jovi. My initials spell out Jet. Anyway.
What's the E?
It's my Chinese name, which I will not divulge. I've had the privilege of performing improv on stage with all of you, I believe, except for Zul. I've seen Zul, and funny guy. Yeah.
Yeah, funny guy. Cool. I think that was meant as a compliment, which is awesome. Let's go with Umarani.
Hi everyone.
Oh, sure,
I'm
until you say that.
Umarani. Stop interrupting my introduction, Zul. Yeah. Hello everyone, I'm Umarani. I look like crap on Zoom, but Yeah, and
Oh yeah,
after
because
6
we
weeks,
all
I don't
look
crash.
so good on webcam.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my skin looks amazing on webcam. Like, I quite like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you're kind of underpointing the point that I'm trying to make, but go on.
Yeah. It's okay, Bhavani.
Zoom has
Yeah,
this
that's
touch-up
it.
feature really helped for me at least.
I tried it and like nothing worked. Like it was the same. So I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing.
Maybe your skin is perfect already.
Oh,
Maybe.
thanks, Bhavani. Totally not fishing for that compliment, but yeah. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're off to a great start. Everyone just say hi, Jester, because I
Hi,
think he
Jester.
Hi, Jester.
Hi, Jester.
really enjoys it when we give a shout out to him. So yes, what's gonna happen is that we're gonna talk for a little while. I'm gonna ask you guys some things. Over the last few weeks, it's been depressing as fuck. So I've been asking for good news. I think there was 1 week where there was good news. I think basically, some bad shit did not happen that week, which is surprising. But you know, by and large, bad shit is constantly happening. So yeah, we can talk about that in a little bit, and then I'll ask you guys for some advice or something that has caught my interest over the last week or so, and then we'll play some improv games. You know, I was just at a Zoom happy hour, and we were talking about how I've not been back to the den for about a month and a half now. And the last time I went was because I remember that we didn't clear the trash. And if we didn't clear the trash for 2 months, that would be terrible.
Oh shit.
So I cleared it, and then we haven't been back since. So now it could be terrible. Maybe it's half flooded. Who knows? Haven't seen it. Don't really want to be honest, at this point, because I don't think it's going to be better than the state I left it in.
Oh yeah. I
I
feel
miss-
the same way about my office. Like I kept nagging everyone to clear out their trash and clear their food before we left because I was like, we're gonna be away for a while. And not everybody listened to me. So I told them if there are rats when we come back, it's your fault.
Sorry?
Sorry?
I'm curious. I don't know what any of your professional lives are like. I know all of you through Impro exclusively. So
Oh.
yeah, what
I'm
kind
a
of?
librarian.
Alive.
You said that with such gusto that I don't know if you're riffing.
No, she's not.
Really,
No,
eh?
he's actually a librarian, Benny.
Yeah.
You're legit? Okay, awesome.
I love my
Right.
job.
That's great.
My job
which
is
part-
awesome. I'm
See,
so
that one I
happy.
can't tell. I'm not sure about
Yeah, I can't. I will
Yeah.
not say it in a recording, but I will text it in the chat.
Okay, cool.
that.
Yeah.
I guess I just want to get a visual on it to see if there's actual. What are the physical circumstances that could have rats like teeming through your workplace? Is that
Mm.
a genuine possibility? With what about the rest of you? Is it because I'm not
Yeah.
working here, so I haven't had any of these concerns. And the more I read, the more I'm like, oh yeah, things are dire. Like yeah,
Have you been in Singapore for 3 years and not seen a rat? We have rats.
Yeah.
no, I believe I'm not denying the existence of rats. I feel like you're really twisting my words from the offset.
You expect you. You think we don't have rats? Rats where you came from.
Where do you
Yeah,
even
no, I mean-
live?
Expat rat
honestly,
denier lives in Singapore.
Yeah, I mean, Singapore's an amazing place. You could just, everything just works out great. There's nothing but white people around, and we all sit around sipping martinis. Like that's what Singapore is to me. I mean, it was a different experience for you guys because I wouldn't know.
Oh man.
This is nervous laughter right now.
Why do they have such like a nice shiny image of Singapore? Well, when I say they, I feel like very exclusive. I mean like I'm trying to be inclusive in this conversation. Like why do you think we paint this picture of Singapore? Why are we like I don't know.
Hang on. I need more specifics. Who's they? Who's painting that image of Singapore? Is it like a cliche
You
tourist idea?
expats! No, I can
Is it us painting that image for everybody else of saying like, oh, you got to come to Singapore. Oh, it's an amazing life, because I think there's definitely a tinge of that. But I also think that there is a certain way that the people in charge might promote Singapore to be an appealing place to come to. And
Mhm.
I mean, there is a lot of glitz and glamour here of, Marina Bay Sands and the casino. And I feel like it's all the bits I'm describing are bits that I have no interest in. And, they're the kind of things that you visit as a tourist and you take a look and you take a photo and you're like, yeah, I guess that's nice, but it's not what makes a city. It's the same as when people come to Sydney and go to the Opera House and take a photo in front of it and sit on the harbour and go across the bridge. And these are all lovely things, but they don't make the city what it truly is for someone who lives there. And having been here for 3 years, I feel like I got a better grip on it, but I'm also far removed from everything because I'm an expat. So
Like for me, right? Like I actually traveled to Singapore quite a lot before I moved here, because I have family here, and they like there is definitely whole like rosy picture of Singapore that I did not like. That's what I thought before I came here, and now that I've been here for about 8 years, I know the real truth of it, and I'm learning the real truth of it every day, even more so now during COVID. Although it's a comparative thing, so I would say I'd rather be here than literally anywhere else right now.
yeah, I used exactly the same words on a Facebook post not long ago. Uh, it just does kind of expose a lot of like what I've come to find is some minor inequities that were like, it shouldn't be that way, but it is, and there's not much I can do about it except for fighting little battles with people every day. Like, I don't know, there's just a clear social hierarchy here, which is governed along the lines of race quite clearly. And I don't know, I'm about to start quoting Sam C here. What is it? The Chinese are the white people, and the Filipinos are the Mexicans, and so are the Indian and Bangladeshi workers. And I feel like I'm desperately waiting for someone to interrupt me because they know the quote.
Oh
Because
no.
I'm the only
Yeah,
white
I
dude.
can't remember what it
Yeah,
is.
and I'm being like, in any other circumstance, I would want someone to dig a hole and let me dive into it.
I know
We
it's
were
been great so
actually
far.
waiting for you to finish.
Um, I mean, I also I generally have thoughts on what you were saying, and I think I'm as complicit as anyone else would be in terms of not really, really thinking about other people's issues, especially talking about foreign labor here. And we do have activists who try to say it, but everyone ignores them by and large until now, and then we have this. But Singapore is a racial country. It is the most racialized place. It's just the way it's expressed here is so different from, say, America, where America, the racism is almost like your standard racism where people express their dislike for each other, their hatred for each other, and then they act on that. Whereas here it's subsumed into a system that's been institutionalized. It's on your ICs, your race is all there. And I'm going to admit, like, I did not notice any of this before I left Singapore. So I was in the UK for a couple of years. That was fun. Yeah, first time I really noticed the idea of racism, and it had to take me leaving the whole country and going to an entirely different continent to notice that.
Hang on, explain how. Did you experience racism in
Yeah.
England?
Yeah, a few times.
When were you
I
in
mean,
England?
Yeah, I was in England. I was late at night, just riding down the bike. Someone yells "chink" while I was riding by, steals my laptop. Um, you
Gee.
know, yeah,
What?
yeah,
Did
yeah,
you laptop?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, though, was this were you like in central London or were you
No.
like up in
This
the
is in
Lake
Oxford.
District? You're in Oxford.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And so
How do you
that
pin the stealing of the laptop to racism?
it was that same trip. So
Oh.
I was riding from yeah. So
I thought it
I
was the
need
same
laptop.
guy.
so I think the crime thing is one thing, and then it was on the same trip, so it was a fun ride back. So I was riding from my girlfriend's place, my ex at the time. So we were riding from her place to mine. This was probably like 12 or something. I think the pubs close. They have this binge drinking thing there because they close early, and then everyone tries to get as much drinks as possible before they close. So on the way back, we got stopped by a guy. He jumped into the road and yelled, "Bah!" And then I think that was the time they stole a laptop. So I continued riding down the street, and then as we rode through the main street, there was this guy in a suit who, as we rode by, he yelled, "Go home, chink!" As we rode by. It was like I did not understand what he was saying at first. It was only I knew he was hostile. I knew he was yelling, and then I was just riding. And that's a very clear evidence, incident of racism, right? Because it's a hate crime essentially. That I think in my mind, and this was like 15 years ago, so a lot of it has kind of melded. So I associate the stealing of the laptop with racism, but it probably is two separate things.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it took me an actual move away from the whole country just to realize what racism really meant. Um, and it was only when I came back that was like, okay, this is a thing, and this happens to people here.
Mm. Such a shame that like there's no equivalent for a white person. Like I know there's a lot of Karens, you know, crying about reverse racism or whatever, but like there's no equivalent for a white person to go somewhere where they're going to face a similar prejudice. It's like, you know, if because the prejudice against them is usually like from colonial countries who are just like, your ancestors came here and destroyed the place. Do you mind? And a lot of the time they don't get any of that, because what they get is like, hey, please come here and spend your money, because we rely on tourism and aid, and that's what makes our country thrive. That's what our economy is built on. So yeah, like the white people who are narrow-minded are never going to have a similar experience to Kim, where if I can say so, you came from somewhere where you were, you know, part of the dominant class basically, and you went somewhere else and to a white country where they laid on you the same prejudices that they've had for hundreds of years that led to them coming here in the first place and abandoning you when the war started.
Yeah, no, we don't really have a place like that. I think it will take a couple of 100 years of our cultural change before we can get to that point.
Yeah, and I also noticed that honestly, you're saying like tourism, right? But they don't treat tourists the same way either. Like people treat Asian tourists like shit.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Do you mean
you're
here?
not gonna face like overt acts of like, no one's gonna call you like Ching. There's no equivalent for that, I guess. But I think that's less scary in the sense that you can shrug that off, but a more systematic or systemic kind of racism that is more passive is more dangerous. Like if it's inbuilt into structures or institutions,
Yeah,
it's very hard to find
those-
that. Yeah.
Like in Singapore.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Those are the kind of things that bother me, where you see someone behaving a certain way and it doesn't quite register why they are discriminating against someone until you realize, oh, maybe this taxi driver isn't picking my helper up because they've decided they don't want to because of who she is, kind of thing. I've had a few experiences of that where I've, to the point where I've got in touch with Grab and been like, y'all need to get some less racist cab drivers, because
Cab drivers don't work for wait, do they? From the
For what,
shitty
sir?
cab companies. Oops, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I mean, the
No,
shitty
sorry,
cab drivers all work for
I'm
Grab.
riffing here.
'cause,
I'm using
you
the
know,
wrong words, but no. It's Grab drivers. It's the independent guys who have just been like, oh, I don't like who you are, so I'm not going to pick you up.
Wow.
And when it dawned on me that that's what was happening, I was like, oh, of course, racism, that thing that I never experienced. So
Yeah, cab drivers, my God, they're so rude sometimes.
well,
Like,
they all are.
yeah,
oh,
it's
should we start bitching about cab drivers? I feel that's a bit more lighthearted.
hey,
My dad is right outside, you guys. My dad's a cab driver.
But the traditional cab drivers are the ones that tend, like those who are like the grumpy old men, not the hip young Grab drivers.
He's
I love
right
a hip
outside.
young
No,
Okay,
my dad drives
not
my dad
grumpy,
drives a taxi.
Same.
he's a grumpy old man. So.
Oh, my dad used to ride the taxi as well.
Oh,
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 cool.
Oh, that's
Oh.
You're puss out now. You're just like, oh no,
Yeah,
cab driver.
yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So,
Yeah, lovely.
racism, right?
I've got in one
Yeah.
and immediately like got a list of complaints of like my people, and I'm just like, what? I didn't do anything wrong.
yeah.
Like, are you gonna pay? Yeah, of course. I have money.
Wow, so you've experienced basically the same kind of racism from a taxi driver.
It's happened.
They assume you don't have the money to pay, basically.
Yeah.
By looking at who you are. My dad,
You know what?
I feel really
You
bad.
know what sucks about that?
Hmm?
Who here has actually done a runner from a taxi? Do you know what I mean, done a runner?
What's a runner?
Yeah,
Runner
I
is
haven't
a
done it.
Like you
know what you
your
mean.
destination, then you bolt out the doors, and then you run through a park or
Kim's
something.
done.
No, I'm not. I know what he's saying. I haven't done it.
I
No,
didn't
no, I guarantee no one here has ever done. Like you're shocked at the idea of it, right?
Yeah.
know.
See, who's the one person who's done it? It's the privileged white dude who did it as a teenager because the trains had stopped and we were stuck north of the harbor and we were really drunk because we're privileged little teenagers. So we get a taxi back and we stop next to Hyde Park and we flee through the city. And we basically robbed a guy.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'm trying to make a point here. That the assumption of who's not going to be able to pay a ticket is like the people you need to be cautious of are the opposite.
The entitled.
Yeah, but it also does
Yeah,
seem that there are
exactly.
quite a few youngsters here who do it. It's just annoying when he makes it sound like it's just my people who do it. Like it's
Yeah, exactly.
youngsters,
What I'm saying that it's a
regardless of
prejudice.
race.
Yeah. If he's going to hold something against you, he's got other reasons than that. He doesn't have any evidence for it because the evidence shows the opposite.
Well, I mean that's the point of racism, right? Why we call it
Mhm.
racism. If you're a racist, you don't go around saying I'm a racist. You go around saying, oh, those people they behave like that. And then you start appealing to logical fallacies in order to reinforce your specific prejudices.
Guys, this is the second improv therapy episode I've been in, and second
Oh
time
yeah, yours is
right?
about racism too.
It's you.
It's me, guys.
It's not even your race. It's just you.
Thanks for clarifying that, Kim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, we were talking about it, right? Just to be clear about this, it's not because Bhavani is.
But it's great that it's coming from you. Just point that out as well.
Just you, not your entire race.
I feel like I got this started because this is top of mind for me.
Nice, awesome. To be honest, I don't think. I mean, racism is definitely a problem in Singapore. I think classism is our main system of prejudice, and that is when it goes and mostly by economic class, which is tied historically very much to race, but it's not the main thing at all.
And it's disguised as meritocracy.
Yes, that is exactly it, and it's entrenched. So we got
But
the whole myth of meritocracy going. Oh, if you work hard, you can rise up, and then once you believe in that, everything is your fault.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned the classism because I think, how do I say this without sounding like very Eurocentric and like this is Western condescension, but it feels like it's a generation back here because like you said, the economic distinctions are drawn along class lines. And that's less of an issue where I'm from, where while we do have a very multicultural society, but it's only off the back of the fact that we have a lot of second, third generation migrants who were lucky enough to have migrant parents, worked very hard and, assimilated and became part of fabric of society. And so you have people who, I don't know, I went to school with the people from all over the world who had thick Australian accents. And I feel that was a really good learning experience for me in terms of race, because that wasn't strange for me. It was just like, oh yeah, everyone's the same.
I don't know. It's true, but like I've heard many cases of racism against Indians in Australia. Is that true? Because I remember at some point during the early 2000s there were actual hate crimes. I remember
they were throwing stones at them. Yeah, sorry, no, what I'm not trying to say that Australia is some like utopian paradise where we're not racist. We're some of the most racist people on the planet. Like, you're aware of our refugee policy. We got them locked up on islands north of the country where they're all trying to kill themselves. They've been there for like 6 years. No, it's grim. The point I was trying to make,
because Australia started off as a prison, guys. Fun.
It's funny how quickly we forgot that. It's weird that the people who have mostly descended from those prisoners have forgotten that they were shipped here on boats and stole the country from the native inhabitants. So it's a valid point you make. No, the only point I was trying to make is that whilst racism definitely does exist in Australia, I feel that it's less of the case here that there are people from other races who have been here long enough to have grown up as part of the Singaporean culture to be embraced by the, I don't know how to
Yeah.
phrase this, to be
It
honest.
would take a lot for another race to come in and be included, just because it's been ingrained so much in the story of the history of Singapore and how we've developed and how we've come so far, and it's all because of these four groups of people working together, and like it's a bit difficult to break away from that narrative and include someone else at this point.
And I'm
Which
guessing
four-
I'm not
hard
saying
to
it's
break
fair that
away.
they haven't, but it's just hard for like
Hang on, what's
the
the
people in
story?
charge
Which,
to do it.
And I'm guessing it's hard to break away from the title of others. If you're not in
Yeah.
CMO, like CMI, you're gonna be others, and then it's gonna be hard.
hang on, fill me in. Who's like at the top? What's the hierarchy as the story of Singapore goes? Who's in charge?
Wait, who's telling the story here?
Yeah.
Our social
Now-
studies textbooks.
Wait, are you talking about
Okay,
like
who
our
remembers the
society?
story from the social studies?
Right, yeah,
Your
because
prime
it is
minister
social studies.
today, your
textbook.
prime minister had tonight, like right now, he has a press conference, and he's just like, we all know, and there's the story of Singapore has been founded on blah 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 blah. What?
Oh,
Yeah.
can I just say there's something really weird I find about Singapore that I've not seen in a lot of other countries is they celebrate their colonial past, whereas a lot of countries are trying to like break away from that. They don't want anything to do with their British past, for example, right? And like at least in India, it's a season like oppression and violence and death, and all these are memorials to struggle. But here, like we had that biennial, biennale,
Bicentennial.
that
Bicentennial.
that is literally they're celebrating the fact that 200 years ago the British came.
Was the British invasion, was it bloody? Was there like,
No, I mean,
No.
okay, it wasn't bloody in the sense that it wasn't really like a full out war. I mean, there was a little bit of like deceit and espionage and like
There's no war,
a little
but
under the table, but it wasn't like a violent takeover.
yeah,
Like
right.
not in the sense that it was a violent takeover in other colonial countries. So
Yeah,
like
it
it's
was.
always just been painted as like a very
Yeah.
peaceful kind of
Yeah,
thing.
totally. And I read an article recently which was about how, you know, a lot of Singapore kind of embraces some of the elements that colonialism brought to them. You know, they're kind of on board with the whole concept of civilization as it is dictated by that kind of Eurocentric view. And I don't know, it speaks a lot to what Singapore is now. They're just like, yeah, look at all these shiny buildings we got and all the fucking money. I mean, we're just so, look how much better we are than Malaysia because we kept all this cool shit that the British bought us, like wearing suits in fucking 32-degree heat and 90% humidity. How fucking smart are we that we're doing all this English bullshit? Woo.
Hey, Jovi, Zul, you guys been pretty quiet. What are you guys thinking?
I don't know. My historical knowledge is very rudimentary. But I do remember, yeah, I know that it wasn't bloody when they came in, but I think what they did managed to avoid that,
remember
not
that?
that it was better.
How do you?
Yeah, I think they did some artificial community manipulation, right? Like they divided the groups into their castes and they allocated personality traits to individual groups. Like
yeah, the
Malays
British
were,
really
Yeah,
good at
they created the enclave. So
yeah. I mean, back then in law school, I went through this very interesting talk. I can't remember much of it, but they were looking at Singapore, at how it started off from an angle of a company. So essentially, Singapore started its growth like a corporate structure because it was an East Indian company. And we
Yeah.
developed that whole place like a company, and that mentality, profit-driven mentality, carried over until now, which is why hierarchy is so strong, and we are just profit-driven. And whenever there's something shiny, it comes across as dividends. Like this is us. Yeah.
That's actually very interesting. Like, okay.
by the way, Zul, you're a lawyer.
I was
Are you
a
in?
lawyer. Yeah. Then I joined improv. Now I just kidding.
Great life decision.
Why is it an awe
Yeah.
thing? Why is it like, oh, that's so cute, you used
Yeah,
to
I
be a
don't know.
lawyer.
Yeah, what? That's the first time I had someone react.
Oh, you used to be a
Yeah.
lawyer.
I say that to
Why-
everything.
Hang on,
I'm
did
like,
you
oh, the puppy's dead.
get the card? I mean, did you becoming criminal? Did you get your license revoked or something? What'd you do?
No.
Wow, man.
I was a criminal lawyer. I was a prosecutor actually. But
Yeah?
I had a 4-year bond, and then once it ended, I wanted to pursue something else. So I went out.
Oh.
It
Okay.
was very
What's something
amicable.
else?
Now I'm doing speech training, like communications and public speaking training.
Oh yes, so much better. Oh.
If we do get into like trouble, we can call you,
Don't
right?
let the Kaiser anymore.
I mean, technically, I'm still called to the bar,
Okay, cool.
Oh.
Good to know. I'm gonna save your
but I'm
contact.
obliged to say by my ethical
Prosecutor, though.
rules.
My thought on that is that, like, if you're a qualified lawyer, you're always going to have the knowledge of being a lawyer and the qualification, right? So
Yeah,
you
but there's
still
so
have
many
the
ethical rules on it. Like I'm obliged to tell people that I've not been in law for quite a while, so technically I'm not competent. So then
Sure.
you would have.
Aw,
I
don't
guess-
say that about yourself.
Yeah, I guess my point is that no one here is asking you to come and defend them in a criminal trial. What we're saying is, hey, can you use your knowledge as probably being the most authoritative speaker here amongst us to correct us when we're talking shit? I reckon you have that.
How are you doing,
Can you
Joe?
all hear me noodling, by the way? This helps me concentrate because if I stop talking for too long, I'm just going to tune out and look at my phone. This is
fine.
kind of how it
Yeah, by
works.
the way,
So.
I heard another voice in the room and I got scared because like I'm supposed to be alone in this room. And it turned out it's just my Google trying to talk to me.
Oh yeah,
I was like, okay.
Always
Yeah.
listen.
Google is doing that a lot. It's listening all the time.
Hmm.
How about you, Jovi? How you doing?
I was just keeping quiet because I couldn't keep track of what the question was. It went racism,
Yeah.
classism, and then like it also back to like Kim wants not sure whether to go back to the den, or is afraid to go back to the den.
Oh yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, so yeah, I don't know what the question was, so I didn't want to.
It's not a
Introducing.
question. You can just say what you feel, which is, I think, a very common conversational tactic. Blah!
It's improv. Just say the first word that comes to your mind.
That is a terrible thing to think, actually, improv-wise. But today is not about teaching you improv, so let's not go there.
What do you do for a living, Jovi? Like, I realized that we didn't finish our introductions at all.
You have a nice fan.
Oh yeah, it's nice little Dyson fan.
Nice and bladeless. Yeah, we got one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do I do for a living? I am a programmer. I used to do game development. I was a game developer for past 11, 12 years. But now I work, well, not but now, and now I work in cloud technologies.
Sorry,
How old are you?
Yeah, can I ask you how old you are? Because
How old do you guys think I am?
I
Well,
genuinely you are
3.
younger than me.
12 years old.
You have 11 years of experience, so
Shockingly.
Yeah, 11 years.
You're programming out of the womb.
Yes. I turned 29 this year.
My goodness.
Yeah.
29?
I figured
I turned 29 this year, yeah.
how do you still have 11 years of experience?
Aw.
Because I started
Early.
really early.
My math
Yeah.
just flew out the window. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was thinking I was
underachieving.
really useful.
Oh my god, I thought you were still in school.
What's the
Like, I
last
thought
game
you
you made?
University.
That was
I
the
love how
last game.
improv has let me meet so many successful people under 30.
Oh, no worry. I've
So
met a lot of
great.
successful people under 30.
I am so great. I have you guys in my life.
Oh yeah.
Define successful.
You can find people, maybe.
True. True.
coming out of the top right corner, she's just like, excuse me, here's the answer. Okay, success is defined by your own parameters. We don't need to compare ourselves to each other. We're all successful in our own right, and I don't like that unfair comparison. No, that's great. That's great. She's doing so well. Yeah.
No, because
That's
I
a
don't
fair
think
point,
I
though.
am, so yeah. What are your parameters of success? I'm actually curious because like I generally don't think
I
I'm
don't know, doesn't everybody get those updates where they're just like, hey, Beyonce's your age and look at her?
Yeah.
my mom, she doesn't tell me about careers. She will send me like pictures of people younger than me who have gotten married.
Yes. High five.
Nice.
Oh, wait. Can you tell me about this? I heard in India you guys have Tinder, but it's your parents who match you.
Yeah, it's called
It's existed
bharatmatch.com.
forever.
What?
Wait, hang on a second. Is that banter, or is there actually an app for arranged marriage now?
Oh my
It's a
god.
website, but
It's
is
a
that
website.
app real?
Oh wow. Okay, sorry
I'll
again.
send you guys the links after, because it's not only that they have a generic one for all of India, they have one for every single fucking caste. So, oh my god, I hope my mom's not watching this. Like,
Can I
she,
just say, like, so I'm Jewish, and can I just say that the Jews would love something like that, and it shocks me that they don't have it. Because every time I feel like I'm being really condescending as a Westerner to be like, "Oh, arranged marriage, that's such a shocking thing for to think that my mom would want to do." And I'm like, as if my mom didn't want to do that, as if she wouldn't relish the opportunity to have a fucking app to just be like, "Oh, here's this Julia girl. She's lovely. I met her at the synagogue. You two would get on great. She's such a nice girl."
oh yes. So there's actually a separate website for every single subcaste within like the 29 states of India. So not only is there like a Bharat is India, so like a bharatmatrimony.com, there is a tamilmatrimony.com, and inside the tamilmatrimony.com, there is an Iyengar which is a subcaste of like a Brahmin community in where I'm from. And like, so it's so niche that you're like, they look for people within that subcaste category.
Okay, so guys, all right. So
Much,
at this
much
point in
better.
the conversation, it's fascinating as fuck. But also almost 10. So by tradition, we have to play an improv game or two. So the one that we're gonna do today, I think is a favorite of Umarani's. I think it's full stop. It's called channel hopping.
Yay!
Yeah, I knew you should say that. So how it works is that I'm gonna ask you to do an improv scene. And I'm gonna number you guys off real quick, just so that we know who's gonna pair up with who. Let's see. Okay. Right. In channel hopping, you will do a scene. The scene that you will do is with one. You will do two scenes. So one is with the person adjacent to you, and the other one is with the other person who's adjacent to you in the numbering. So one is adjacent to 2 and 6. Um, so yeah, Benny, I have a question for you. Would you rather do a scene or would you rather play music for it, for the various scenes? that happen?
Look, I'd rather play music because I've literally never done improv properly. But
Get it?
I feel that there's
None of us. Sorry.
yeah.
It's me,
So,
just me.
and like you said, we can be terrible, and I'm sure I will be. So just make it happen.
All right, let's make it happen then.
Yeah, whatever it is, we'll blame it on CB.
All right, we'll do this. Yeah, so whenever I give a signal, basically I yell in the mic because the bell doesn't translate well. Zoom doesn't play well with voices, with anything other than voices. So I'll just yell, change! And then we'll change over to the next scene. So the first scene will be between number 1 and number 2. Second scene will be 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 5 and 6. And then the final scene will be number 6 and number 1. We're also going to use a fun mechanic we call last line, first line. So the first line of one scene is the last line of the previous scene. So if one scene ends with someone saying, I would like a bag of wolves in my pajamas, and then that's the last line. And the first line of the next scene is, I would like a bag of wolves in my pajamas, whatever the context of your scene is supposed to be. Cool? Any questions?
Yep.
Awesome. Gonna assign a genre to each pairing. Let's get a pairing for Benny and Bhavani. Any genre.
We have to choose the genre.
Yeah, we'll get anyone can choose assign a genre to this pair. What genre would you like the two of them to play a scene in?
Anime?
Anime, great. Awesome. How about between Bhavani and Jovi?
Mystery.
Film noir.
Lovely.
Detective.
Excellent.
No.
Film noir detective, there's probably a bracket in there somewhere. Let's go with Jovi and Umarani.
Oh, all right.
I'm gonna go with a travelogue.
Travelogue?
Travelogue. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Because while we are in, there's some fantasy to do us a bit of good. Umarani and Zul,
Telenovela.
lovely, excellent.
Mm.
Zul and me.
Um,
National PSA.
Oh, yeah, Lee Sing Yon. Like,
Yes.
I'm just gonna. No, I'm not gonna take the Lee Hsien Loong part. I'm gonna take the first part of that. Because reasons, and I am deathly afraid of our politicians.
Cowards.
I
Cowards.
am a
There's a lot
coward.
of you.
True.
Okay.
And one between me and Benny.
I'm just really inspired by the flames behind you. I want to do something set in hell, but that's not a genre.
No, can be. We'll take that. Let's just go with hell.
Hang on, have I frozen?
Yes.
Yes.
You actually have,
Why?
which is awesome. Let's okay. So if you're doing a scene, great. Then leave your video on. If you're not doing a scene, then I would like you to switch off a video so it's a little bit clearer who's performing. All right. So we'll start off with number 1 and number 2. Your suggestion for all the scenes we're doing is going to be the last message. Let's see. What did I see on my phone? Ooh, oh, that's bad. Ooh, no, not that. What's the last? Okay.
Never done
no,
improv.
no. Sorry, it was Trump, but I'm tired of Trump. Fuck him. Let's go with breeder.
Breeder?
Breeder, yes.
Breeder. Okay, just flagging at the top. Never done improv. Never watched anime.
Beautiful.
Don't know what the ask for is.
wonderful.
Take it away.
Okay. Senpai. Senpai.
Yes, my Padawan. Yes, my young Padawan.
The chickens are breeding out of control, Senpai. Notice
No.
me. Notice me, the chickens.
Always say this about the chickens. They are meant to breed. That is why we have the chickens.
Oh. I ate one by accident.
Is this meant to be compelling? I am not swayed by your look of argument you bring to me always.
Crying. I'm hurt by your words.
I am unmoved.
Change.
I am moved by your words.
I knew he was unmoved by my words. But I could say whatever I wanted. He was not gonna pay attention to me. What am I? I'm just some girl.
Just some girl who appeared in my office expecting an interview. The role of my past secretary never will be replaced.
You know I need help. You know it. My husband died under mysterious circumstances and I had to come only to you. I had other people, but I wasn't gonna tell him that.
So you come to me now, this very stormy night. What is it that you seek? Employment? A favor?
Let's just say my employment would be a favor.
A favor to who? You? Or to me?
Change. A favor to you or to me.
Favor to you or me is what I asked that beggar on the street.
I, the
But
beggar
there
on
are
the
plenty
street.
of beggars over here, right, Jovi?
I'm not sure whether you asked the right question. He seemed terribly offended.
Well, maybe it just got lost in translation. I mean, everyone speaks so differently here.
I know. Maybe we can go to like a different part. Maybe we talk to other beggars. Why are we even asking beggars for directions anyway?
Well, because they're the locals. I mean, they've been on the streets long enough to actually know the streets.
Right. This is all part of our travel log, our travel documentary, yeah?
Yeah, we want to be authentic.
Authentic. Really blend in with the locals. But honey, I don't think I can do this. When I said I traveled the world with you, I thought I meant it like I travel with you like in a expat sort of way.
Aw, but that won't get us any views. I mean, people are tired of seeing rich white people go all over the place. They want to see the real stories.
Real stories, but I want to be a rich white person.
Change.
Mommy, I want to be a rich white person.
Of course you can. I am going to do everything in my power to make you the richest, whitest person in this world. Ching.
Do you think Uncle Jimmy will help you with that? To make me white?
Uncle Jimmy will do whatever I ask him to.
Mommy, I don't really like Uncle Jimmy. He scares me. Um,
Why does he scare you?
he shouts at you, Mommy. I don't like it when Uncle Jimmy shouts at you.
Well, he shouts at me, but he knows that I have something on him that he can get away from.
What do you know about him,
it.
Mommy? Can I help?
Actually, you can. I just need you to put something out on social media to ruin his life.
Oh, that's very easy, Mommy. I just have to click post, right?
That's exactly right. And that's how we get rid of the competition
Change.
and make you.
Oh boy. And that's how we get rid of the competition. That's right, Malaysia. You hear that? We're coming for you.
No.
All that is good, yeah. But
We good? Yeah.
yeah.
How's the lighting, man? How's the lighting?
The lighting is
Last
good.
time
Lighting
it
is
was so
good.
pasty, man. All the color
Yeah.
balance.
But I think the next time you say that last line, try to sound more compassionate. You know.
Do we need to do this again?
Let's try that one more time. Let's try a bit more compassion at the end. A bit of love. You love the Malaysians, but
Okay. Right.
you know, yeah.
That's how we get rid of the competition. Hey, Malaysia, we're coming for you.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we need in our announcement today.
You're the public speaking coach, man. I trust you, man.
No, this is my most important gig. If this all goes wrong, we might get into trouble. You know.
Trouble.
Yeah. If only I can do something about the way you look.
Hey, man, I was born this way, man. What do you expect me to do? Like turn, like, I don't know, white or something?
I think you're pale enough.
That change. Oh, I think you're pale enough. Yes. Very good. Very good. You know, in the office, you don't have to use your double voice in the office. It's only for the damned.
Oh, that's a huge relief. Sorry, I just felt like we always had to be on, because every time someone gets down here, you just got to be like, everything's terrible. But it's nice to just be me for a bit, because I really like it here.
That's gonna be a problem, Benny. You can't like it here. This is hell. We're all damned. We all suffer. If you like it, then we're gonna have to relocate you.
I guess that's a shocking irony of the punishment, isn't it? Because I don't know, you picked a bunch of stuff that I'm really into. Like I was doing this up on Earth, like all the fire and the rocks and stuff and all the torture. Like I couldn't admit it to a lot of people, but yeah, it kind of got me off. So
yeah.
No, if that's sin, you just brought me to my people.
Your transfer just came in. I think they're gonna send you to Teletubby land.
What?
They're gonna send you to Teletubby land.
But that's not that's not a traditional punishment. You're just sending me to somewhere that everybody likes, right? I mean,
Are you telling me
conventionally.
that you got off on Teletubbies too?
Yeah, but you can't just.
You're a dangerous man.
I don't know. Now that I think about it, I'm sure I could find a way. Yeah, look, all right, give me the transfer. I'll take it.
All right. I must say, it has not been a pleasure working with you, so get the fuck out of my office.
No problem. I'm going to go fuck Tinky Winky.
Nice. And scene. Okay, cool. Jester, you got all that, I hope. Beautiful. And with that, it comes to the end of, I think that was the best line we've ever ended Improv Therapy on. This kind of traumatized everyone forever. So that was great. Thank you guys for spending the last hour with me. Lovely to see all of you. Take care. Stay sane. Stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.